First, congratulations to Rod on his new journey. We're going to miss you, Rod. You've been a tremendous help to me, you and your entire team, and I hope that continues. The hardest thing about this talk today for me has been to narrow this down into 10 minutes. Because I have a lot to say about CARDI. I've been very engaged with CARDI and have derived a great benefit. I hope I have given back to. I hope it's been a reciprocal relationship. So let me give this a shot. And if I happen to say anything particularly useful or insightful, and you'd like anyone they would like to follow up, I'd be happy to talk on the phone, or I will come out to the university. I'll be out there in a few weeks sometime. Anyway. So first of all, I think that the general view that I have of CARDI is the best place to start, because it brings me down to some of the specific benefits I derived as a state employee. I view CARDI basically as the portal to a very impressive array of not just institutes within the university, but all of the knowledge that is there. It's almost like CARDI is an ombudsman of sorts, helping me to navigate the university and derive as much from it as I can to inform public policy and program issues, which I deal with in the realm of smart growth. I point that out first because it's a rarity, and you should give yourselves a pat on the back. It's not easy to navigate universities. Universities are treasure troves of information and resources, but from my perspective, they're no good if I can't navigate them and connect all the dots and derive some benefit from them. And what I find is, Cornell and CARDI are really in a class by themselves, because I can come in with some general needs. You folks, Rod and David and Robin and others, connect the dots for me within the university. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I don't know how the sausage is made. I just know that it is good when it's served to me, and it's very useful. Just a couple of very practical examples of that is that, the governor and the Secretary of State created an Office of New Americans, and I have constantly been trying to link New Americans to urban revitalization and smart growth. And one of the papers that I distribute is the one that you did at Cornell on Utica and the role of refugees. Another good example is the Sustainable Communities report that came out at the Atkinson Center that a number of institutes there at Cornell were involved with. Really a model of interdisciplinary collaboration. Aside from the good information in the report, really remarkable that a university can take, I think it's 10 or 11 disciplines and who knows how many other personalities, and agree on a report that is actually substantive and visionary, really. And I use that, I distribute that widely, and people appreciate it. So if I could beg your indulgence for a quick analogy, it's almost like going to a restaurant, the food at which you're not familiar with, let's say a Moroccan restaurant, but you're intrigued by the food and you really want to have a good experience, but you're a little bit nervous about how it's going to go because of your ignorance. But you end up having a great experience because you've been given a menu that is user-friendly. You're being helped by the staff to choose the right dish for you. You're being helped to choose the right wine. Again, don't know what goes on in the kitchen, but if I come away enjoying my experience and learning something from it, not only have I got something from that, but I'm going to come back. And I guess the measure of CARDI's success with me is that I keep coming back. I deal with a lot of frustrating bureaucracies and institutions that don't connect the dots well. They don't take that holistic integrative approach, and I do know that CARDI does that. I've seen a little bit of how you operate because just on a whim, I asked David and Rod if I could spend the day out there and just stop in on some folks, understand how the Atkinson Center and CARDI and Energy Institute all overlap. And it was one of the most productive days I've spent out of the office because I got the impression that the resources were there but also on top of it, that everybody I met with didn't just give me information, didn't just talk. They offered their help to connect in with the projects that I work on resiliency, sustainability, and smart growth. So that portal is tremendously important, and maybe I'll end by saying that the work that you're doing is not only impressive, but it's extremely timely in this age, this age of new governance structures. Half of what I do, aside from the design part and sustainability part of smart growth, is process. The smart growth movement has encouraged holistic, bottom-up, community-based, region-based governance, not government necessarily. And we have a governor now who evinces and evidences that approach, reinforces it every day through the Regional Economic Development Council, the regional sustainability plans, resiliency plans, things like that. CARDI has been ahead of the game in that respect. CARDI evinces that what I see is a complex, systems-oriented, holistic governance worldview. And it fits very nicely with what I think is developing in New York through the governors and others' governance reform. So I only hope that CARDI continues to do what it does, but also ride this wave and really demonstrate that you were there ahead of the game in terms of engagement, real engagement, and you now fit nicely within this new governance structure. And the word engagement, I think, is the key to what CARDI does. I often think that it should be somehow in your name, Community and Regional Engagement Institute, the CARE Institute, if you will, because that used to be a buzzword, and now it's becoming a reality, and it's in part because of some of the pioneering work that you've done at CARDI. So thanks for everything that you've done for me here in state government. And it's not just me that has benefited, it's been the people that I interact with and the many different disciplines that I deal with in my field.